Our next panel discussion goes for 50 good minutes. The subject is ethics and authenticity, navigating the fine line in digital marketing. Our moderator for this one is Ebony Singletary. Ebony, are you in the house? Joining Ebony today is Laura Sultan, founder and CEO of Designs by Nature Gems, Ashley Marshall, CFO of Tier Level Enterprises, Stuart McFall, founder and president of Stuart McFall Associates, and Anil Argawal, broker and manager of NJ Find. Unfortunately, Joanna Kennedy couldn't make it today. Everybody, make sure your mics work. Take a 10-second introduction, and we'll just let you move on.
Testing.
Have fun. I'll be right here if you need me.
Testing.
Testing.
Yeah.
Testing.
All right, there we go. Right. So I guess we can always take a picture.
Ladies and gentlemen, ethics and authenticity, navigating the fine line in digital marketing.
Check, 1, 2. Hello.
All right. All right, so I guess we'll get started with introductions. We'll say where we're from, what we do, and we'll go from there. So my name is Ebony Singletary. I am the founder and CEO of Ebony Azuri Consulting. It is a full-service marketing company that helps small to mid-sized businesses with their. Ooh.
There you go.
Hello.
Powerful.
All right, so let's start over. So my name is Ebony Singletary. I am the founder and CEO of Ebony Azuri Consulting. I started the company about a year and a half ago. We help small to mid-sized businesses with everything in marketing, from social media, traditional marketing, public relations, all of those things. I am moving a little bit into marketing consulting for nonprofits and for churches.
I'm Laura Sultan. I am the founder and CEO of Designs by Nature Gems, a handmade luxury jewelry company. Essentially, we handmake all our crystal jewelry right in Toronto, Ontario, and we ship globally. So all the work, all the designs are mine, but I have an amazing team behind me, and especially an amazing marketing director who's helped steer me. And it's grown into its own entity, if that makes sense. So the crystal jewelry, the designs, everything is part of it. But being authentic, I'm handmade. Like, we're handmade. You have to be authentic is a core. That's one of the reasons I'm here. And also, I've started the Laura Sultan Consulting, which is just about mentoring and trying to help other more creative people. I know all of you are creative, so not like that. More the hands, the creatives who work with their hands, put it that way, and try to help them how to grow a product and a brand and be, authentic.
I'm Ashley Marshall. I'm CFO of Tier Level Enterprises. We have two companies that operate under our umbrella. One is a full service digital marketing company similar to Ebony's, and another is a full merchandise print screening embroidery shop. We do just about everything for your business, marketing wise. So we do the digital side, and we also can do the merchandise processing for you guys. It's been challenging. I want to say that I kind of fell into this role, but keeping it authentic and being true to who I am, also while trying to lead people and lead a marketing company where marketing is changing all the time, digitally and otherwise. It's been interesting and a fun ride, and I'm excited to be up here with you guys.
I'm Stuart McFall of Stuart McFall Associates. We are a 20-year-old tech marketing firm. We've worked with about 250 companies around the world, primarily with emerging tech. Because of what we've done, we introduced cloud computing for Cisco, AR and VR for Apple. The reason that Alexa can answer a question was that Alexa's Brain was a client of ours that we brought to Amazon. Those are the kind of companies that we want to work with, companies that genuinely want to make a difference in the world. So authenticity seemed to be a perfect subject for this. So thank you, and I'll pass on to Anil.
Thank you so much, Stuart. So, my name is Anil Agarwal. I am actually kind of little nervous sitting next to the pioneers. So, my company is little young. So, I started a few fluke because I was in fashion industry working for 30 years, and then the other F came in my life. So, I had another. So that time I realized there is not a single platform available who can provide mentorship, motivation, and education to entrepreneur who want to be entrepreneurs. So I was stuck as employee for many years. I always wanted to become an entrepreneur. So while I was running around trying to find a solution, so ground zero, all the companies which I was tapping to, at is as if like I have to go back to the job like as employee. So I started a company, NJ Find. I I'm happy to say that I'm a president. We did 1 million last year and without spending a zero dime. And that happened because I started working on using the talent on the global available. So using a freelancer. So I tapped to the freelancer and started using big like small businesses tapping their door. And that time I realized that most of the doors when I was tapping to, they were looking for some help. Let's say some people were looking for like marketing help, some were looking for some sort of a cloud platform, someone looking for a digital marketing, someone looking for events. So that time I made my mantra as a small, I'm a small wheel of a big wheel. So that's how I became like a small wheel. So anyone looking for any strategy, planning, marketing. So my goal is to find talent globally. If I have to travel, I travel. I find that talent and I club them together, and that was the Find came up. So with that being said, we also educate small families, about how to protect their health, wealth, and home. Because while I was working into this project, I became a realtor, and while I was as a realtor, I was, as a realtor, we knock some doors, right? So it was very difficult because I was always a tech side. I never been to marketing. I never done it. I was always in the designing side. I used to handle Macy's design direct department in private label. So for 30 years, I never seen the sunlight. It was always like sitting in a queue, working in meetings, and up and down, coffee cup, and all that stuff. So when someone told me you have to go and knock on a door, I was like scared. I was like, before knocking a door, I just walk away. Okay, I did my part. So finally, one day I got guts and knocks on a door, and that door became like a open door for me because the lady called me inside and she was sitting on a chair and she said, you are the first one came and knocked on my door. No one came and said hi to me. My kids never came said hi to me. I'm sick, and sometime I have to ask someone to bring me a water or something. I have no one. And then she said, matter of fact, I will be losing this home. And I was like, why are you losing this home? She was like, because my daughter got sick, she died, and then I had no one to mentor me out. No one educated me that, all the money I made, I gave it to my daughter education, and then she died unexpectedly, and I have no money now. So I'm like dying, and the house gonna get foreclosed. So that time I made my mission. You know what? Like basically there is a small gap because everyone is talking about big platforms, AI. Even AI, if I chat, the answers I get, no way talking about the human connect. So human beings, I personally feel the mentorship is about 401k, you do 529, but no one is talking about how to protect asset, not to lose assets, where to park your asset, how to protect your home, how to protect your medical bills. So that's where we are, started, and it's a lucrative platform. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So it's great to share the stage with each of you. So each of us has a different kind of background and things like that. So I want to start with how does authenticity affect your marketing decisions when we're each facing the pressure to create engaging content online? So we can start with you, Laura, since you're working with your hands.
So to not be authentic when you're making handmade jewelry is kind of chaotic and problematic. So in a lot of ways, even if we tried not to be, and I have a kind of a loud personality, so it doesn't work when I try not to be. I just end up being quiet and then I end up being loud again. So it doesn't matter. Okay. I don't think this is working. Here, take mine. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Thanks. All right. So I have to be authentic. First of all, I believe in mental health. I'm artistic, I'm creative, I have a family, I live in Toronto, I live a fast paced life, and all that, even if I didn't have it, I'd still have to be aware of mental health. To not be authentic goes against that for me. So that's the first reason. Now let's throw it into a company. Being handmade, usually you end up there because you want to make something. It could be like a release. You may have left a job, stress, something at home, personal, and ends up being a release. So you start working with your hands and you find joy in it, whatever medium you get called to. And then you start realizing that, hey, people like my work. Cool. So you start selling it. And as you're going along, you realize people like your story. So you start sharing it. And the biggest part of being authentic and keeping authentic content is to make sure that you stay focused, I'd say. Because earlier on a previous panel, I heard one of the speakers talk about creatives having trouble with focus. And I just kind of was nodding in the back of my head. And so while you're being authentic, while you're trying to create this content, whatever you do, you must remain focused on the message. And that's actually, again, I'm handmade and I have a loud personality, but I think that's actually one of the reasons handmade struggles. Because everyone who's handmade, on average, you're most likely authentic. You're working, you're showing your art, and now we're going to marketing. You show your brand. My brand is handmade luxury crystal jewelry. That's my brand. Now you go into it and you see the pictures. You see the name of the company, Designs by Nature. You see natural vibes, gems, you see crystals. And you're starting to see how the authenticity of the name of my company and the first, tagline connects straight back to the product. And then you scratch further. Everything is mostly my picture. I am the face of my team. So I share my story. You can read about what led me to making crystal jewelry. You can read about like how we grew in the last few years. We are also what's called an e-commerce brand. We sell mostly online. We sell, contradictory kind of, mostly on Amazon, handmade. And that starts to show the complexity of remaining authentic. So we try to keep our tone authentic on Amazon. We keep our tone authentic on all our social media platforms. We keep our tone most and easiestly authentic on our website. But if we move away from that, then we are not the brand. We are not the company. So it's not a question of how to keep to it. It's a question of how to best take care of it. Because as soon as you start moving away from it, when you are very involved in the product, whatever it is, and maybe to the service as well, you're actually losing the voice that created it. And then all of a sudden, you're going to lose some of your clientele because the people who are coming to you as a small business, especially in my case, they got coming to you because of your voice. So you need to keep to it. So you refocus, which is something we've done in the past.
That's a great point. For us, we're more service based, right? 90% of our business is service based. So for us, yeah, that'll be great.
Put this one away.
Being authentic for us with our clients is about being who we are when we speak to them, not only our clients, but potential clients. Um, I have a business counterpart in this room who is phenomenal at getting potential clients to become real clients through being who she is. Her conversations are astounding. And she's just being honest. She's saying, "Tell me about your business," and allowing them the space to do that. We do that with our clients as well. Once they are clients, we're still asking them, "Tell us more about your business as it's evolving, as it's changing, as it's growing," so that we can continue to be your marketing partner, so that we can continue to operate as an extension of your business, because ultimately that's what we are, no matter how we're servicing them. So, staying authentic not only in our marketing message, but in the way that we work with our clients is very, very important to our business. And when we work on our own marketing, as we work on marketing for all of our clients, we encourage our team of people that write that marketing and write that content to let their personality come out. We actually encourage all of our team members to engage and give us ideas on what we should be putting out in our marketing. We roundtable things very frequently. We talk about different ideas and then we create a plan and we execute that plan. I listened to a gentleman say that earlier, being very specific about how you do that. But I think that everyone around us in the world before the pandemic, since the pandemic, wants to know that you're real people, that you are speaking your own real words, And even if you're using AI for ideas or to enhance what you're trying to say, as long as it's your real voice and you're speaking it to people and you're a real person and you're being who you are with your message, people are going to resonate with that. Maybe not all people, but the people that you want to be your clients or to be on your team for that matter, they'll resonate with it. You attract what you put out. So if you're putting out positivity and you're putting out your message as you see it and as you speak it and who you are, you're going to get that in return. And then nothing but growth occurs from that point.
My experience has been with virtually every company that if you dig hard enough into authenticity, you're going to find purpose. Purpose driven companies are at least twice as much successful as non purpose driven companies just by declaring purpose. But if you ground your authenticity in a sense of purpose, that's the thing that engages employees, it engages customers, it creates a personality for your organization that you wouldn't have otherwise. And then you take that purpose based authenticity and then through integrity, which is just taking your authenticity and bringing it to life, you're able to go out and reach those people that you're trying to reach in the most effective way possible, whether it be through content, through contact, or through any type of engagement you want to have.
So, well, all the points are very valid, and thank you so much. I'm sitting, I'm learning too. So, in my case, when I started myself as agent, when I quit our clothing industry, so I had nothing to sell because I was by myself. There is no background, there is nothing. I don't want to share. So, in a LinkedIn, I was like thinking what I should post. So, this is a very solid point, authenticity. So, only thing I had was like I am authentic. So, the very first slogan I made, which I still have it today, I'm agile, active, always available agent. So when I knocked on the door, I said, look, I'm agile, active, all you call me, I will pick up in microsecond. If there is not a second, microsecond will pick up. I have to keep two phones always ready, always charged. So that became a mantra of, to a point like today, it's only 3 years in history, but I'm like, my name is Anil, but there are so many billionaires Anil, like on a globe. Anil Kapoor, Anil Vidhanta, they are billionaire, like sitting on the top. But when someone types Anil Sells, my name comes up first now on Google. So their names come down. Like Anil Kapoor, all the movie star, there came down. Even there is a guy called Anil Agarwal, same as my name, A double G. He is a Vedanta Group CEO. His team called me. Their CEO called me, and I was smart enough. The minute I decided I have to become an agent, I booked my name, Anil Agarwal, because I was so passionate. It's nothing else. I have to promote myself. I have to. Only thing I had was the authenticity because there is nothing else I have. I cannot bring up I'm a BTech, I'm a master because people are not going to correlate. They want someone like down to ground. They don't want someone with a high baggage and with a big nose and saying, here I am, and then they're not going to give me a home to sell. I wanted to be ground zero. So I just cut down everything. I started looking like a handyman, contractor, wearing like tone shoes. Total like 360-degree flip. But only thing that's which helped me out to succeed, number one, like Anil sells, like you put Anil and then sells, my all about me, tick, tick, tick. And now my clients are talking about it. So the authenticity, just because I became so down and as if like, I'm hungry and I started sharing my story with them. So they talk about me instead of they talking about them. Earlier it was all about me. Hey, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. When in a clothing industry, all about me, I'm this, I'm this. The minute I got like, quit, I was like, I'm no one. No one came to say bye to me. Even the dummies never said bye to me when I got fired. So I was like, no one cares about, what you are, who you are. So that time it was a total 360 trick, and the only thing made me success is authentic. What I am, how genuine you are, and how you can connect to the So the one slogan I have, which I basically tell every kid when I go. There are two things. Here I am, which I was, and now my attitude is there you are. I go and approach people. So instead of here I am, I became there you are. So there you are means with the authentic, with the genuine willingness to blend with them as an authentic person.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know for me, one of the things is this is kind of what you get. Like you'll see me in this exact T-shirt if you go to my website right now. So this is how I show up. But how many Ted Lasso fans do I have in the crowd? Exactly. So remember the episode when he was playing darts and he said you should always be curious? That is my slogan walking into any meeting with any potential client. Just be curious. Tell me about your business. How did you get started? Tell me about your family. I want to know about you as a person because then I can do my job a lot better to do your marketing, right? So it's about me being authentic and you being authentic as a client as well.
Can I piggyback on that?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So I sell product mostly. My major company is crystal jewelry. But if I don't know my clientele, or if I go after the wrong clientele, because understand, crystal jewelry is massive. It is not a small little business corner niche. It is very big, and it's actually not a niche in my head. That would be going too wide and not authentic. And like I said, I sold on Amazon. So at a point, I tested that, and yep, I got my lesson learned, and I went back to my happy niche. The point is, I still know my clients. They are people who like unique pieces, artistic designs. You look up my business, you're not going to see the designs in many other places, and there's specific reasons behind that. And then on top of it, I know that a lot of them, there's a lot of parents in that group. And I'm aware of that. So come Mother's Day, I have focused necklaces for mothers. I have focused necklaces for men. 30% of my clientele are men who are open minded, wearing jewelry, often into nature. And I could go on and on. And if I speak to my clients and I do trade shows or art shows, it's the same thing. It's the same concept. You get to know who you sell to. You know their story, you see where it aligns, and then you get to make a connection. And then that authenticity kind of does it for you.
Yeah, I think we start to kind of hide behind the computer screens a lot and we forget that we are people talking to other people, which kind of brings me to my next question about AI. So we've heard a lot about talking about AI and how we can utilize it, good, bad, or indifferent. But how has AI either helped or hurt when we're talking about authentic content? I'll let you start down at the end. Yeah, I'll start down at the end.
Oh, yeah, okay, well, again, to my point, how I use AI at cost zero, I will share something which I'm using it as of today. There is a software called HubSpot. It's a CRM software. So when I got started as an employee to entrepreneur, my goal was to not pay money because employees don't spend money. They want to save money. So it was very difficult to me to hire someone to pay money, right? So I was searching. So I made a list of tools where I don't spend any money, but I get what big companies get. So starting with HubSpot. In HubSpot, when you download on your phone, there is this option you can. Let's say if any one of you tells me if I'm talking to you, there is a AI tab over there on the bottom, and it's free. You don't need to pay. I don't pay. So to like 5 templates you can create. So on the bottom there is a tool which is a like a AI tool. So let's say first option is who you are sending to, what tone should be, what do you want to talk about, or how length of that tone should be, and I just boom. Now the person will get an email as if like that's what I do. Let's say someone I meet, he's a jewelry store owner and he wants me to manage his inventory and website from India. So I don't want to talk about real estate. I want to talk about what I want him to sell. So I will use HubSpot. I'm my name and jewelry, and then we will sell it from India, and boom, and automatically I will draft the email. So that's like my one tip about AI, and I use it every day. So it's helping me a lot. It saves my tons of hours.
I probably have a different view of AI than a lot of people do. First of all, I think we have to acknowledge that when it comes to social media and authenticity, that the system has been gamed right from the start. And it just continues to be gamed. All that's happening right now is that the tools are becoming more complex, more sophisticated. It takes things that looked, is that really real? To, yeah, that looks really real because of things like AI. But the fact is, the paradigm of how people use social media isn't really stopping. People are using it to create false impressions. They are using it to game. So that's the first thing. We have to take a look and separate the technology from the people, technology from the intent. When you separate that out and you look at AI, I think AI is just like a hammer. So a hammer you can use to build something, or you can brain somebody with it. That's what AI can do as well. AI has the power to do very, very great things, very, very bad things, and it's all dependent on who is using it. So it's not the technology itself, it's the intent of the individual or individuals using it. The one thing I think will be a saving thing about AI, particularly in circumstances like this, is that we forget that AI can act as a prevention against AI. AI is probably going to be one of the best guards we have to be able to determine whether or not something is a deep fake, for example. And we're going to be seeing a lot of this in the coming year. So it's going to be a very, very interesting few months ahead.
I'm going to piggyback on that a little bit. Again, it's a tool, right? Just like social media, it's all a tool and it's dependent on who's sitting behind the screen directing that tool on what to do and what not to do. And when it becomes dangerous is you use the word intent. When your intent is to deceive or to appear as something you're not or to put a message out there that isn't true or authentic or ethical, right? That's what we're talking about. Then it can do very bad things and it can do very bad things for your company. It can work poorly. But when you put the right people with the right intent and they use it in the right way, it's constructive and it can blossom. It can really become something that you may have gotten to on your own, right? But it got you there a little bit quicker. So it's a really good tool. But it becomes an ethical issue when you're misusing it and when your intent is not good intent or true, authentic intent. I guess that's a better way to put it, right? And you also have to remember about AI, it's only as smart as the information that is fed into it and as accurate as the information and data is fed into it. When it's fed either, we like to throw the word bias around a lot, right? So when it's fed specific content, it's going to have a very different output. And to your point, you can make it work against itself. You can make it contradict itself or tell untruths. So again, intent and intelligence when using it and making sure that you're using it as a supportive tool. I think that's very, very, very key. Not using it to write all of your content word for word, right? Use it to enhance your content, your voice, your personality. That's a better way to use AI.
I'm going to jump back to some of the positives that you were doing at the end. So, for us, and keep in mind, I keep going back to I'm handmade because it's the way I differentiate a bit. So, to ground what I'm about to say, the majority of my team are artists who make things. Okay. There's about three of us who deal with sales and operations. And then of the people who deal with marketing, there is two of us and one person who is my director who does a fantastic job. And she deals with a lot of it. And then I come in and try to help as often as I can. The reason I'm saying this, I'm showing you kind of the short staffed we are. And I'm making that clear to explain why with the right intent and with caution and thoughtfulness, we are using AI. We're going to use it for some help for photo shoots. To plan a photo shoot, because I've done a bunch of these, takes a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of people, and then you need to edit the pictures, and then you need to put them into proper graphics, and then I could keep going. You have no idea. So photo shoots are a big deal. Now, I plan to still do in-person photo shoots. This is me not scrapping it. But this enables us to say, hey, here is a bridal line on a bride. And it's winter in Toronto when we did our bridal line. I don't think anyone wanted to be in a wedding dress in the snow. I'm sorry. So it ain't happening. So let's try to do it with an AI generated background. Now, what I would like to see happen is some requirements, legal or by major corporations like Amazon, Etsy, etc., to say that we just need to put a hashtag in there saying background is AI generated. That's transparency and that's ethical. Yep. Yeah. And I think that's really what needs to happen. I think we are definitely in the heavy beginning days where this scary stuff can happen, but also it's a time to learn how to do tools. And if you want it to be ethical, put, just a little tag in a listing in the corner, background AI generated. It means at least you're trying, and then you can stay true to yourself.
Clients appreciate too. I think you are to your point. Like if you do that, they see you as a innovative. You are a little on a like updated one. You are a updated version than those who are not using it. And disclaimer definitely helps.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. I mean, we all talk about using AI as a tool, and it can help and it can hurt. But with the right intent, with the right intelligence and everything, then we can use it as tools. But what both of you were talking about kind of brings us to our next question about the ethical implications of using AI. So you were talking about creating a generated background, but when we talk about how we present ourselves online, that's the information that AI is using to create these questions and these answers about how we talk to other people. So I'm going to start with you, Ashley, because I know we talked about this before. So what can be some of the ethical implications from using consumer data when we talk about AI?
So yeah, we did talk about this a little bit, but it's kind of in line with what I was saying before, just in a different caveat, is every time any one of us uses AI, we're giving it information. We're feeding it data, no matter what you ask it. It knows who you are, it knows where you are, it knows your IP address, it knows all those things, right? And it's using that as data to feed that information to somebody else. So, on our end of the spectrum, when we're trying to learn about our clients, as you said, you like to get to know your clients, your customers, your people who like to buy your products or use your services, you can use AI to analyze that data, but how accurate is that? And how ethical is that? And then that brings in privacy concerns. What privacy do we have? And if I am using AI to learn more about my customers, how am I potentially violating their privacy by looking at that data or using that data to send them the right messages? And that opens up a whole nother can of worms when it comes to marketing and the use of AI, right? But it's a conversation. It's a big conversation because we all want to protect our privacy. We all want to protect our very important vital information, but we also want to use that information to help grow our companies at the same time. So, what pieces of that information is important? What part does AI play in that? And how ethical is it really, right? That's a big piece of that conversation, and I know that you had a lot of insight on this when we were talking earlier.
Yeah, I do. I do. So first of all, I don't think AI should ever be used in a situation where you're not dealing with information that isn't publicly available. I think that has to be the bottom line. I think going and doing any kind of sneaking around or finding anything that is not publicly available and trying to use that, that's immoral, in my opinion. But if it is publicly available, we have to face the fact that most of us lead lives that if you look at what information about ourselves is publicly available, we would probably be shocked about what the rest of the world would know. Have you ever come across a picture of yourself, for example, and it's like, when was that picture taken? And it's like, holy crap. Um, that information is out there, and it can be assembled in many different ways, but it can also be done in safe ways. So, for example, there's a company called Rapleaf in San Francisco, and they are a big favorite of big brands. And what Rapleaf does is that it aggregates all this publicly available consumer information. But what they do is that they act as a medium point between the brand and the consumer. So they don't let the consumer know what brand is asking, but they also don't let the brand know who the consumer is, but they will give the consumer profile. And that allows them, the brands, to do better planning. So that's a way in which AI could be used in a more constructive manner. That's how I think we're going to see AI used more in the future. I tend not to be a nihilist about it. I tend to believe that there's a more hopeful side for this because there are so many constructive ways in which this can be done.
Are you saying that there's a photo out there of Stuart that we might not want to look at?
There's at least two.
So I may not be too updated on this, but I just thought while we were just listening, so just something came to my mind. I think ethical, keeping the ethics a priority because ethics is something builds your reputation in a brand. So as a single solo entity, my brand is very important. So ethics is very important. Now using AI as a single entity, if you use it, so in my scenario, like I do two things right now: finance for and then real estate, right? So for finance, I heavily want to use data which is already there in a public domain. So there is a SaaS technology which basically make you a graphical analytical. Like for example, when that lady I met and I wanted to go back and check on my computer, how come this lady had no idea what's going on? Like how come she lost a home? Like that was something too new to me. I was so cocoon. So when I started checking using a SaaS technology, the data from the public domain basically graphically showed me that every third American will go through this. Every second American go through this. I was like, holy cow, how can that happen? So that's a, like alarming thing. That is before AI. Now talking about AI, you plug that data into AI, AI will tell you how exactly that close, like for example, Spanish, like COVID happened, right? 2020. Go back 100 years ago. How many people thought about 100 years ago we had a Spanish flu 1920, correct? So, so this basically in fashion, the only thing I remember from fashion was the history repeats. We follow fashion and we repeat, we replicate, we instigate, we incubate, and then we wait for the maturity, and that how the masses get the fashion. But in the same replication happens in all the industry. Only thing is in all the industries, I think there is no one personally in my case, I like real estate again. No one is talking about it. Like people just go with the realtors talking about or some infatuation because their neighbor bought it or he bought it, she bought it. But they don't correlate that far. But you can clearly see using that data from the past, knowing if Spanish flu happened in 2020, 1920 and 2020, 1929 the big recession came. How many people were ready that time? How is the market going right now? What inflation we had that time? What inflation we are sitting today? Using AI in a conducive, in a productive manner, we can get ourselves ready. We don't need to wait for someone to tell us. We can use available tools to get ourselves ready, our family ready. That's how I feel.
So you're saying using AI to find trends and data
Yeah,
and analyze it.
and get ready. I'm not a judge. I don't want that could be authentic. AI is AI. But if without AI, the SaaS can predict, and that's something even companies like AIG, Athene, Etna, they are using to put on their website, like every third American will go through this, second go through this, then AIG can be accurate too, you know?
Yeah, I think that's all really really good. So I know that there are some solopreneurs, maybe partnerships that are out there. So with us trying to create this content that's super authentic, how do we kind of stay away from burnout, from trying to be so authentic, from trying to show our true selves online, and also, running our businesses, creating the items that we're doing, running the services, all those things. So how do we shield ourselves, I think, a little bit from burnout?
I'm going to jump in on this one. So pace yourself and learn yourself as well as you can, and then be aware when you're changing. That would be the three things because burnout to me is just part of it. I'm super passionate. I've been burnt out many a time. I heal. People on my team will run into it. They flag it. We try to let them heal. I can't and they can't escape it, no matter how much we've tried. And some people I've been with, for 5 years. So this is just life. We keep working on it. We keep trying, but we don't escape it. So instead, we pace, we communicate, we try to be aware when not to give our all and give like 80%, and then we move on. Anyways, I have to go to a different panel over in the leadership about mental health. So you guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for listening. Bye.
Good job.
See you guys. See you later. Yeah.
I'm going to just piggyback on top of that and say that I think the way you prevent burnout is to follow the trends that are happening right now. And if you look at what Gen Z is gravitating towards, it's towards community. It's towards achieving a larger sense of the whole. So I think if you're going towards burnout, incorporate others into what you're doing and build your own community, because then you have a larger machine, you have a group of commonly interested people working on the content. And quite honestly, I think that's going to be more attractive in the future.
Very much so. I'm going to jump on that because our team, i- I'm surrounded by a fantastic team, and we have witnessed people on our team experience the burnout and in different forms, in different ways. And whether you are working on your own or you're working with a team of people, it is truly important. The woman on the panel right before us spoke about it, taking breaks. Taking breaks, step away from the computer. I did a presentation for our team one random meeting day, and it was about set a timer, right? Sit at your computer, set your timer, say, okay, I'm going to focus and work on this specific set of things for an hour. And I know that might not be realistic for everybody, depending on what your company looks like, how it operates, what role you play. But give yourself 10 minutes away from that computer. Give yourself 7 minutes off your phone. Do not look at any device. Give yourself that break. And then when you're doing it, set an example for your people. If you're a leader in your company, if you're a leader of people that are working for you or with you, use yourself as an example and then encourage them to do that. And like I said, we've experienced employees with burnout. Be supportive, right? Give them the time they need to relax that mental health, flex that muscle, come back to who they are, remember why they're doing the job that they're doing, because everybody wants to love what they do. And you can encourage that in your team if you encourage them to take the breaks, recognize when they are burnt out, and take the necessary steps to take care of themselves. And the best way you can do that is by leading by example and doing it yourself. If you're doing it, everybody else in your company is going to be encouraged to do it too.
And I think that really speaks to the authenticity, right? Like burnout is real. We've all been burnt out. And sometimes, you have to make that content, make the video about being burnt out. Like, listen, I'm exhausted right now. All right, we got about 5 minutes. I'm exhausted right now, and here's what I'm doing to kind of help with that burnout. And I think that yeah, the transparency, the authenticity of that, I think it will go a long way with your staff, with your clients, with potential clients, with people that you're trying to reach. I think it'll definitely go a long way.
Do
Yeah,
we have any questions for the panel?
yeah.
We are.
Yeah, so her question, in case you didn't hear, was are there any companies that are measuring um, the ethical implications of AI, either on the vendor side or on the consumer side?
Yeah, we create content for over 100 businesses across the country. Some are very large businesses, some are very small businesses. We have $100 million producers on our client list, and then we've got the $100,000 guy, right? And no matter what, our content has to be authentic for them. Who can write 300 blogs in a month? Right? You can't even get a team of people to write really good content at that level, right? So we do use AI, but we are very specific with how we use it. We've actually tested out multiple different AI tools to find which one can actually support the work that our team is doing. And we've made a list of how to use them. We've taken different training courses. We've conducted trainings with our team on, hey, this is what has worked the best to produce the most engaging and authentic content for this client. And we're very specific about what we write for who we're writing it for. So, to answer your question, I don't know of any other companies that are pioneering that and publicly pioneering that. I think that's one of the biggest factors that's missing is that if there are large companies out there doing it, they're not publicly speaking about it to pioneer that path. I think that AI is so new that people are a little bit timid to do that. And maybe they're not quite sure exactly how to do it. So they're tiptoeing it. But finding what works for you and your voice and how you're using it is going to be the best way to move forward with that. And then encouraging those around you to do the same.
Right. But I'm going to piggyback on that. 2 months ago, I attended a webinar that had 120 CEOs across the United States talking about what their AI strategies were. And every single one of those companies is putting things into practice. What's happening is that AI is moving so fast that every time they feel they have a point to start, it moves. So this
Sounds
is
like social media too.
it's like social media. It is. And so this is one of the things that really kind of freaks them out because it's happening much faster than they're actually able to react. But there is intent to be able to put those safeguards in place.
Are there any other questions for us up here?
I guess we covered all those topics pretty well then, huh?
We did, yeah.
Boy, we're
Yeah.
good.
Thank you so much, panel. You guys were great. Big round of applause.